what they just announced for your pension. And this is not good, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, it's not just if you're a pensioner or you've got a pension. This is going to affect pretty much everybody that works and pays into a pension. But there's a lot more to it. And this is official, what I'm about to tell you. This is official because Rachel Reeves has to inform the OBR, the Office for Budgetary Responsibility. She has to inform them whenever she's going to increase income taxes. Now just wait till we get into all this, because this is really, really quite crazy. And look at that face. I mean, she looks so happy, doesn't she? Labour is to target pensioners with income tax raid. Millions of retirees are to be hammered in this budget, with some facing extra bills as high as £2,500. That's per year, by the way. That's not like just a one-off. This is per year, an extra £2,500 deduction. This is, drop your comments as we go. This is just getting worse. Each time I say I don't think this can get much worse, and then it gets worse. Labour then is about to target millions, or the government, the UK government, is about to target millions of pensioners with an income tax raid in the coming budget. They've said that this sort of group is the ideal group to, I'm paraphrasing here, it's the ideal group to go after, because what are they going to do about it? And they've got lots of money, whereas the younger people and people that are working haven't got as much money, so they're going after the pensioners. It's an easy target. And the more wealthy the pensioner, the higher the tax bill will be. This is plans by the Chancellor to raise income tax for the first time in over 50 years for this group here. While workers will have the effects of the tax mitigated, it says. Well, we'll see. It says it's going to be mitigated by people paying... it doesn't actually say, but it's talking about national insurance. So they say, well, there might be cuts to national insurance over here, so you're going to pay more over there. It's really not clear at the moment. But under this plan, there would be no national insurance reduction for earnings over £50,270. So if you earn more than that, whether that's pension, whether that's what you earn per year, there's not going to be a national insurance reduction anyway. So you're just going to end up paying this massive increase. Higher earners will see most of their income lost to tax. This is what it says in black and white. If you're a higher income, you will see most of your income lost to tax. The changes could see workers with a salary, so now we're into workers, okay, of £100,000. So these are considered the wealthiest of all workers in the UK. It says that you will pay close to £1,000 in extra tax each year. This is new figures just come out. Additional rate taxpayers who earn more than £125,140, you'll pay an extra £1,700 a year. And you might say, well, I'm not going to be affected by this anyway. I don't take a salary, or I'm a landlord, or I'm a business owner, I pay dividends. Well, she said that she's going to be going after these people hard. It says that word, hard, going after them. It will mean almost 9 million state pensioners being handed a much higher tax bill, including 124,000 people who currently pay the additional rate, the 45 pence rate. At the £12,570 tax-free allowance, this is going to be removed for anyone with this level of income. And it just goes on and on and on. It says a rise of 2 percentage points would result in an extra bill of £2,502.80 for people. She then went on to say those with the broadest shoulders should pay the fair share of taxes. Okay, even though you've already paid your taxes, you need to pay more, and you've got your exit tax of the 20% being proposed, and all these other taxes. I think this is probably going to be one of the biggest tax raids ever in the history of the country, and probably the biggest outside of war, a sort of wartime economy. So she had to, the only reason we found this out, she had to inform the OBR, which is the Office for Budget Responsibility. She had to inform them, and of course then it gets out. So she put out her statement of some of the things that she's going to be doing. She said it's necessary to plug the black hole in the finances. It also says that even though they pledged, she had to write this in the letter as well, even though they pledged in the manifesto not to increase any taxes, national insurance, VAT, income tax, she said that she was now prepared to break this pledge for the good of all. What? I don't think that's for the good of all. I think that's to the detriment of all. And the way she said it, like, you know, to the good of all, it's like she feels proud to actually say something like that she's going to be taxing everybody who's already really, really heavily taxed. She's going to be taxing them all, and she's proud of it. It's so weird. It's bizarre, like out of touch with reality. Doing so would force 8.8 million state pensioners to pay more tax, according to the HMRC figures that were just revealed in a Freedom of Information request. So 8.8 million state pensioners are going to be paying more tax. It comes as pensioners reclaimed 48.5 million in overtaxed pension withdrawals between July and September this year. The Chancellor was not impressed with this because it's drained her account. Pensioners have now reclaimed more than 1.5 billion over the past decade after they were incorrectly taxed. So she's not happy about this at all, this 1.5 billion over the last decade, but it's really this, call it 50 million, that's happened just between July and September. She said that they didn't account for this, and the pensioners, all sorts of other stuff. Now, if you are kind of wondering, well, what do I do about all of this, Neil? There's plenty of options for you, but one thing I would say, check out, if you haven't watched the 1 hour free training that I put together for you, watch that. It is in the description below. Hey, look at that. No AI on that picture. Hey, that's all natural. Watch the free training below, and it will show you all sorts of things around the stock market, how you can accelerate your pension, how you can avoid all this craziness that is coming down the line. Because if you don't take a lot of actions, they're going to, it's an inaction in effect. You can either take an action or you can take an inaction. And that means that they'll take the action for you. So either way, something's going to happen. So it's better to have the control in your own hands. And also the newsletter. I'm going to finish writing the newsletter as soon as I finish this stream. If you're not getting the Friday newsletter, make sure to get that. It's free. It's free. And people have even said, look at the testimonials. People are like, how is this free? I have subscriptions that don't give as much financial details as this and economy and everything else. It's free. And also remember the Patreon private community as well. Stock picks, monthly macro, my investment spreadsheet, everything you want. Just check the links below. Okay. Now then, we had another big one come out. This is serious. I think this has been overlooked, but this came out yesterday. And this is the UK construction activity falls to its lowest since 2020 as civil work plummets. So this basically came out from the PMI results, which so many people overlook. They don't really talk about the PMI, and yet it's one of the most important indicators that tells you whether we're in growth or whether in contraction. So anything below 50 is contraction. I think I'll pull it up in the article, but last time I checked, we're about 47.5, something like that. So we're in contraction. The UK is contracting. Here we go. The UK construction sector contracted in October at the fastest pace in over 5 years. And 5 years, wasn't that the record, I think, back then? It says civil engineering activity declined at the fastest pace since the lockdowns. Well, it says the pandemic, but I call it the lockdowns, due to weak demand and uncertainty ahead of the budget. The S&P Global Monthly Purchasers Managers Index as well for the construction industry fell to 44.1 in October. It was 46.2 in September. Wow. So it's even worse than I expected. Last month's PMI was actually 46.7 on the poll. Civil engineering is at the weakest since lockdowns, when all the work was halted. So that actually tells you how bad it is. That was a man-made halt. This is not a man-made halt. Activity in the residential building sector last month slowed at its sharpest pace since February, and this is at 43.6. It goes on and on and on. Recent business surveys have also shown similar concerns about investment, hiring, and demand. This is all due to the budget. I don't think we're going to see much happening really, apart from negative news, until this budget is over. And that's if we don't have some more jitters in the markets, of course. Been watching the markets probably every hour at the minute, just watching the charts, worrying, ladies and gents. And it's interesting because it was only, what day did I put the monthly macro video out? I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. It was only in that monthly which is long, by the way. It's an hour and 10 minutes long, but it's worth you watching it on the Patreon because it's extremely detailed. You don't need to watch a month's worth of finance videos. Just watch that one video and it'll tell you all my forecasts and what's going on. But in the, oh my gosh, where was I going with that? Sometimes I do this. I go off on a wild goose chase. But I know where I was going. I was only talking about these AI stocks, and I said, look how much they account for of the entire S&P. Forget all about the other indexes. The S&P, massive now, massive, and the earnings as well. And I was just talking about if that starts to shake, starts to wobble, we could see some major issues. Now, I'm not saying we're going to see a crash today, tomorrow, this week, but watch it very, very closely because this, even you look at some of the earnings that came out, pretty good. We had some good earnings, and yet it still is dropping some of these stocks now. So you just got to watch them really, really carefully. Make sure remember the golden rules. Make sure you're diversified. You don't just want to have all your money in one thing, in the stock market. You need to be diversified with different things. Look what happened with Rightmove then. I don't know if you saw what has happened with Rightmove. This was just crazy. More than £1 billion wiped off over the AI fears. Now, they don't really get into it in the article, but I can pretty much break down why that is. They basically said that they're going to be investing really heavily into AI on the platform. So it would reduce the earnings. And the earnings, let me just see if I can grab the earnings. Rightmove. Oh, hold on, I'm not logged in. Let me log in. Okay. If you look at the charts, actually, look at the first 6 months of the year. Really good returns, good profitability. But now they've announced that, here's the stock today, 572. Oh, wow. Okay. It is absolutely taking a hammering. Hold on, we got to look at this a second. This is getting hammered. Wow. Okay. Okay. That's worse than I thought. Okay. But you gotta think about what's actually been happening with Rightmove. They've said that they're not going to be doing really good returns now. They're looking at what, 2, 3, 4, 5% returns maximum. So, let's say it's me. Why would I hold that stock? I'm not going to hold that stock. I'm going to sell it as soon as the report comes out and they announce it. I'm going to sell it right away, and then I'm just going to buy it back later on because I know it's going to drop based on that news. And why would I hold it? I'm just going to buy it later on. So I just think it's really bizarre that they would put that news out, knowing what would happen, especially everything going on at the minute. I just don't think that was the most sensible thing. So actually, it's 1.4 billion that was wiped off as at the time of this article. They lost 27.6% in a single day. They said, what else? Yeah, just what I've said. They had a 9% return the first 6 months of the year. Now it's something like 3 or 4%. So it's not looking good for them at all. What about the FTSE then? Let's check out the FTSE today for those of you who want to know. FTSE's down about 1% on the day as well. We'll use Yahoo here. We'll use MSN actually. It's down about 1% on the day. What's it down? Past 5 days, it's sort of about 1%. So it's not too bad actually. But the Bank of England, what did they do? They held rates yesterday steady at 4%. I think probably that was the right call on that. Was it a big surprise? Not really. I think it was 5-4 votes. I haven't got it here, but it's about 5-4 votes. Now, if you think why they probably did that, what is going to happen this month on the, I think it's the 26th, the budget? Would I have dropped the rates? Probably not. I don't think I'd have done it in their position either, even though it was a 5-4 vote. He probably split the vote in the end. But would I have done that? Probably not. Even though, yes, it will bring down people's mortgages and that's a good thing. But at the same time, you've got a lot of headwinds at the minute. And her budget is going to cripple the economy even more. You think how bad it is now. And this is just based on the bad news that people expect. When this actually hits and comes out, it's going to be bad, ladies and gents. It's going to be really, really bad. So, yeah. Short stream tonight because it's late. You probably can tell. It's almost 10 p.m. here, so where I am. So my brain's not as active at this time of night. I should make sure to stream earlier actually. But then it's that catch-22 because where does the news come out? It comes out about now, lunchtime in the UK. So if I stream in the morning, there's no news. So we'll see. We'll see how we get on with this. But yeah, check out the training webinar. Look at the Patreon, get the newsletter. There's loads you can do to start getting yourself prepared for all this. Apart from that, take care, God bless, have a great weekend.